What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 8 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Nakai the Wanderer Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, we have gotten our Slan on field now and are beginning to recruit the Fire Army. It'll take a couple of turns as we actually get the Salamander constructing building, but we're nearly there. And getting the Salamander, that's interesting. I didn't realize that. That will give us the Summon Feral Cold Ones ability, eh? Combine that with the ability to summon... a moment. Yeah, combine that with the ability to summon the... Razordons, that should be quite effective. What I'm doing right now is I'm double checking whether that ability exists only for Nakai or whether the other lords in here or the other lords can get it. Doesn't look like they can, unfortunately. It's certainly then a potential reason to actually keep this structure. Well, that was a happy accident. I'm now wanting to check out the other structures here. I assume his pyramids don't give him the ability. 1, 2, 3... no, yes, one of them does. Okay, so we can replace that one with that one once we can, afford this, because the insane costs are there. Yeah, I'm wondering whether we should replace or could replace one of these at some point, but we'll deal with it later. Anyway, this time around, we're looking to move southward towards Arbaal the Undefeated as we continue making or completing the armies that we currently have and getting the new one on field. We should also start moving our tech thieves towards finding the other Lizardmen out there somewhere. This one's kind of far. We have to... Oh, good lord. So Oshiotla is here in Norska, and then... that's not good. I fear that Krogar is already dead. And by the looks of it looks like everything here is chaos corrupted, and Conquata, I believe, is the starting position for the last defenders. Well, hopefully they either move down there or maybe confederated by Oshiotla or anything else, ideally. I see some non-corrupted territory around here, so it does look like Oshiotla is still alive, at least I hope so. I think he starts right here in the center, so definitely gonna send a tech thief up towards him, and in fact we should probably get another tech thief to, steal tech on the way. You guys can recruit tech thieves, right? As King Priest, we can also recruit oracles now, and we will eventually, but they're stupidly expensive per turn. Alright, we'll need additional capacity, which I guess we can't afford right now. Alright, fine. Let's start with whatever it is we do have to do in this turn. Tyrannicon, let's move you in to take Blight River Falls. You've already defeated Kugath. And what do we have here? Pyrrhic victory casualties high, and we'll lose half our stuff. Go figure. We could try to force him into a field battle again. I guess we could give him a shot. If nothing else, this is probably a walled settlement, and if it is a walled settlement, we'll need to be able to actually climb those walls, so why not? Leadership on you. Actually, you probably don't need that leadership, but it's fine. Let's see what Mr. Kugath does about all that. Shulamar, you were headed down to Karagnar. And what do we have here? Tier 3, no defensive structure. This might actually be auto-resolvable. Let's see, close victory, medium casualties, just a bunch of gobos. Actually, it's not even a bunch of gobos, it's a few gobos. Alright, I'm gonna risk auto-resolving it. This may be a bad idea, but let's hope that we can heal up to full. Okay, it heavily damaged the Pterodon riders, but it is what it is. We did get a Fencer's Blades out of it, though, so it's not the worst thing in the world. I don't know, Sri Lanka. 31, 27, and 25. Okay, Sri Lanka's kind of ahead of everybody else, so maybe we should get some stuff for the others. Anyway, you can go into encamp stance, but stay near Karagnar. Like here. You can get these guys as reinforcements if they should actually attempt to attack you. Skink Chief, you've leveled up. And you are going to, I guess, go for Resilient first, and then marked for Service afterwards. Assuming that there wasn't anything else that we had to critically acquire, but I don't think that there is. And, yeah, that's the end of the turn. Alright, well, I guess we're going to have to wait and see what Arbaal is going to do. Should we declare war on him? Ooh, I know what we should do. Let's check out our lords. Since we do have the capacity now, it might behoove us to actually start training a few more lords, just to leech XP. Blessed by Kashwatna. I think this is the one we'll go for to lead Lord Croak's army. I haven't seen any of these Saurus Oldbloods have a Saurus or Temple Guard specific trait, and the missile resistance and weapon strength should help nicely with them. And these guys should definitely buff Saurus and Temple Guard, or at least I presume so, and they will combine nicely with Lord Croak. For Lord Croak, personally, I'm thinking his army should be like a half stack, not a full stack, just like 10 units or 9 units, whatever, and just a few Temple Guard and a few sacred Kroxigors to be his personal bodyguard, and just surrounding him in a box. I want to see him struggle a little bit, in the sense that, you know, he otherwise never would, because Lord Croak is just obnoxiously ridiculous, but keeping him at a smaller stack might work out in that way, so that's what we'll do. Anyway, yeah, let's get you. I wish you weren't level 1, but I don't think we have any techs or anything like that at the current time that would change that. So let's get you on field to leech XP shortly, and you're immediately going to suffer attrition? No, you're not, because you can encamp. Beautiful. The growth doesn't matter, and I do want to see what you guys can do. So first of all, alright, in proper campaigns, in non-horde campaigns, we would be using Blessing of Chotek and spamming these guys, just Saurus Oldblood all the time, to get the income from buildings faction-wide. It's fantastic as you grow. Okay, they do get the 10% upkeep reduction for Saurus Infantry and Temple Guards, which is what we wanted. Speed increase, spell resistance. Well, I'm just looking at the various blessings, and... I remember that these guys had the Blessing of Eitzel for the various dinos, but this actually includes not just dinos, includes Ripperdactyl Riders, Pterodon Riders, Ripperdactyl Riders, Salamander and Razordon hunting packs, Cold One Ancient Salamanders, Stegodon Basti, Coatl, Dreadsaurian. Yeah, lots and lots of options. Okay, we'll have to get some more of these guys. And I think Honored Elder, yeah, also Temple Guard, Source, and Cold One units. Oh, that's interesting. These guys would thus have 15% reductions on Cold One units. Huh, I was going to have a Red Crest lead the Cold One army. I guess we could do potentially 2 slightly different ones, one with Saurus and one with just Cold Ones. You know what? I'll think about it. I like it. There's a lot of options available. You do have to get new armies on field anyway, after all. Anyway, let's see what else we got. Nothing. Let's skip to the end of the turn then. Can you start building your reduction building? Yeah, start building your reduction building. It's probably going to be a while before he gets any troops in there, but nonetheless. Ah, there we go, and Kugath will sally out yet again, possibly the last time. Oh, he's got a Soul Grinder and a Great Unclean One this time, plus he still has his Regiments of Renown. Damn, he keeps bringing the big boys to the fight against the poor little skinks. Well, that is what it is. I'm just going to have to deal with it. He also has the Festering Pool and Fecundity. Definitely got to watch that thing. It hurt us last time, we thought. But every time he fights and every time he loses, Tyrannicon just grows stronger. So here we go. Alrighty, here we go. This should be a very interesting fight, in big part because, well, let's just say I gambled with the deployment and lost. This is one where we didn't see where the enemy was deployed, and I was assuming that, as the AI generally does, that it would deploy A, in one blob together rather than in 2 separate armies, and B, sort of in the center of the enemy deployment zone. Instead, what they decided to do was deploy Kugath and the Soul Grinder really far back so that they could fire upon us as we approach, and B, they've separated them in such a way that's not quite convenient to us. Under the assumption that the enemy would be deployed here with the entire sort of army, I decided to deploy our army, gambling as to whether we go left or right, to essentially send our entire army to hit one side of theirs and then destroy them. them. Unfortunately, with the enemy deployed in this way, they are going to be able to fire upon us for quite a long time until our rather, well, not maybe slow, but it's still going to take a long time to get to them. Even the Red Crests only move at 36 speed at the current time. Plus, if there was an option, I would have preferred to have destroyed the smaller aspect or smaller portion of the enemy army and not deal with Kugath immediately, because obviously 22,000 HP, massive amounts of regen and all that. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Anyway, we have no choice because we've deployed the way that we have, including with our Vanguard units, and looks like they're going to head directly towards the enemy. Looks like the enemy is going to, what, pop an immediate heal on the Great Unclean One? Yeah, an immediate fleshy abundance. Alright, fair enough. We were looking to deal a little bit of damage to it, but now it looks like it'll most likely out-heal it. We will counteract some of Kugath's attacks with the protection of Quetzal on the Skink Skirmishers, which should keep them alive. And, well, in for a penny, in for a pound, we're going to ignore the enemies on the left flank and head the entire army directly towards Kugath. I don't know whether that's going to go so well, because we have to deal with, well, Kugath himself and the Soul Grinder's HP, but we'll do what we can. Anyway, the enemies are doing a pretty good job bombarding us, hardly surprisingly, though we are dealing solid damage to the enemy Pox Riders as they move towards our Chameleon Stalkers, as well as our now summoned units of Razordons. I'm gonna get a storm of Shalanka, or whatever it's called, through the enemy line. And do a little bit of damage to the Plague Bearers at the very least, while our Red Crests continue trying to rush forward, protect the Skirmisher units, and move towards Kugath and the Soul Grinder. Ooh, looks like Kugath has activated a Blight Boil, which, if it hits, will most likely be able to just obliterate this unit of red-crested skinks. Fortunately, we are going to survive with about 30%, 40% of their HP, and should be able to pack off. That unit, unfortunately, is more or less done now, so we're going to have to fight without it. In the meantime, our Stag Riders have arrived in the center mass of the enemy Plague Bearers, but mostly here to go after the enemy Great Unclean One, while the Plague Bearers fight the Red Crests. Alright, come on guys, don't turn around and get distracted by the Plague Bearers. Speaking of Plague Bearers, we've engaged them in various locations at this point in time and are trying to keep the Razordons alive as well because they do solid damage. Otherwise, we have moved towards Kugath and the Soul Grinder, who have nearly killed our Skink Priest Beasts and have summoned the Feral Manticore here just to distract Kugath. This thing's not up for very long, unfortunately. The summoning, I think, only lasts 40 seconds, 45 seconds? I don't know, but kind of makes it feel rather useless because it's just not long enough to actually do anything. It's done 1,000 damage so far, considering the mana cost, just not worth the investment. But at least while Kugath is whacking away at it, he's not firing anything. Anyway, the enemy Soul Grinder is still free to fire, and of course the enemy, not Uncle for Uncle, but just a regular Great Unclean One is attacking us as well. Though on the bright side, a decent amount of the enemy units of Flyers and Plague Bearers are nearing their demise. Alright, let's see. The balance of power is, well, actually nearly even, hovering around 55% in our favor perhaps. A unit of Plague Drones of Nurgle has also gone after our Skink cohorts with Javelins, who, despite the fact that they have 67 melee defense, are getting absolutely obliterated by the single unit of Plague Drones, which is pretty interesting. Once again, this is our melee buffed army, so we don't get as much benefit on the range units, but at the very least with the range units here, there's something that can fire away at the enemy's Flyers. I'm going to try to bring those down as best as we can. The enemy Great Unclean One is, by the looks of it, finally done, getting one last hit on the Ancient Stag before being brought down by the summoned Razordons attacking it. We're going to move towards the enemy Plague Ridden, and try to bring that thing down while we continue trying to distract Kugath. We've moved our Skink Chief and, well, actually both of our Skink Chiefs to go after the enemy's Soul Grinder here, and perhaps with the big old dino attacking it, the Soul Grinder will be the worse for wear. Otherwise, Kugath is just attempting to move away. We're just trying to distract him with the Chameleon Skinks so that he isn't able to fire. I'm going to send in some of those summoned Razordons to hose him down as well with those spines of theirs. Basti with Arc of Sotek moving in. We just really don't want Kugath to chuck those darn Nurglings at anybody. And he's just going to keep moving and completely ignoring the Chameleon Stalkers. A bit annoying that he can actually do this and just completely ignore everybody. Oh, would you finally stop? No, he's still going. I'm actually curious as to what he's trying to achieve here. Where is he going? Is he perhaps heading towards our Lord? And now he's also ignoring the Manticore, which will actually push him away a little bit. I think that might be the second summoned Manticore. Alright, and there we go. It looks like Kugath has arrived right in the center of the formation, but I don't think he's going to get out of this one, and we should be able to bring him down. Otherwise, while our units of javelins have been forced to back off, they've also managed to peel away both the Pox Riders Regiment of Renown and the Plague Bearers Regiment of Renown, and that alone is quite worth it. Under the administrations of the Dinos and the Razordons and all the Red Crests and such, both Kugath and the Soul Grinder will finally be brought down. Like so, and we actually get to see Kugath's death animation this time. Lovely. With Kugath having been banished, it looks like the rest of his army is done, though they did manage to do plenty of damage to us. Darn that deployment. Yeah, not being able to see where the enemy is and how they're deployed, it really did hurt us here, but, well, that's the risk you run when you sort of bait the enemy into attacking you, rather than attacking them. Those Pox Riders, Barons of the Bog, still giving chase to the Skink cohort with javelins, who I think we're going to preserve by popping off a protection of Quetzal. Like so, just to make sure that they don't get destroyed by this unit while the other Skink cohort runs off the field. Alright, I'm just going to speed this up a little bit as these guys will get banished as soon as we are in proximity and actually attacking. And just to speed the matter up, we'll summon a unit of Razordons directly on the hill above those Pox Riders, and should be able to destroy them on the approach, especially with the banishment that they're in. Lovely. Now only the unit of Plague Bearers, the Festering Stooges, remain. Too bad for Kugath he wasn't able to put them to good use, because it's a very solid unit. But oh well. And similar to the Pox Barons, or Barons of the Bog rather, they're going to attempt to make their way up the hill under fire from those Razordons. Gotta really appreciate the ability to summon the Razordons, A, because they're quite strong, but B, because, well, it prevents the need to have these guys in our army as yet, while eventually we will, and we can still use the unit and enjoy using the unit until we get them in our actual army or armies. Which I'm pretty happy with. Anyway, they're going to continue launching their spines at the Festering Stooges, who, by the looks of it, have decided to just give up. They're just kind of just standing there, unable to reach us, and with that, the battle is done. Lovely. Yet another defeat for Kugath at the hands of Tyrannicon, but soon there will be no more revivals from him. Ooh, all right, there we go. That was a pretty darn tough fight. Unfortunately, with deploying in the way that we did, it did mean that we suffered quite a bit more than I would have liked, and had to look to knock out Kugath instead of waiting to leave him until the end. Though I suppose, on the other hand, that fully determined that we could defeat Kugath, you know, the old-fashioned way rather than waiting for him. Now, we did get hit with the Blight Boil, which was not the Plague Ridden. I guess it was Kugath casting it, 14k damage, because that Blight Boil pretty much destroyed one of our units of red-crested skinks there, and was cast across the entire map? Huh. I assume he doesn't have a bound Blight Boil ability. Well, it was really quite damaging, and I'm impressed if he was able to cast it across the entire map. But anyway, we are still about half HP. We could heal up, but it's barely any healing, so I guess we'll just take the money yet again, and then knock this out next turn. Alrighty, free Helm of Discord, not too bad, and the Wild Hunt, huh? I wonder if the Wild Hunt has commenced, does that give us a vision of any of the Wood Elves, or does it tell us about that regardless? No, I don't see Wood Elves. Well, darn. That would have been nice. Oh, I see Knights of Caledor nearby as well. They don't like us a crazy amount. We could join their war against Arbaal, though. Maybe get some dragons in our armies. They are reptilian after all and all that. Now, Nakai, ooh, you're able to reach Mr. Arbaal directly from here. I guess the question is, do we attack him or do we allow him to come in as a reinforcement? This would be a minor settlement battle, and frankly, that would make it a lot easier for us because the enemy would be held up in choke points or Chotag points, and Lord Krog would just obliterate them all. So I guess probably better to do the field battle then. Should be a bit more fun. All right, fine, fair enough. You will then reinforce. Unfortunately, does this mean Nakai? Let me just see here. You're gonna go right to there. You, sir, are going to go right to there. We need to leave just a little bit of room for Nakai to move on in, because we also want him to be able to... Oh, we're gonna suffer attrition from the Chaos Corruption, aren't we? Well, it is what it is. I'm gonna have to chase these guys down then. Oh, that also is what it is. Things tend to be what they are, go figure. You go here. Cricket. And Nakai, you're going to move on in a second. I guess we'll level you all up before we do, but I want to see what everybody else has got going right now. First of all, Cytocrom. Well, I guess you're not going directly for Skarsnik. You can move towards Nazcadrin, which has something of a garrison. Frankly, if we reinforce with Shulamar... Oh, actually, low casualties. Never mind, just auto-resolve it. It's just gobos. Not worth our time. And we'll go for Itzel this time. Once again, doesn't really matter. Free Glyph Necklace, we'll take that though. And in camp stance, then keep moving this way. Alright. I did want you to meet up with Nakai and transfer units, but for now I guess you're fine as you are. Shulamar, go to Karak Azul, which is... well, less sparsely defended. We'll give them a chance to sally out and get them get themselves destroyed. If they don't sally out, well, then we'll just move the reinforcing army of Cytocrom in, and they're gonna get screwed over anyway. Right, I wanted to build another building to get another Skink Chief if possible, or Skink Priest if possible, rather. Trying to get another Tech Thief up and running. Oh, speaking of Tech Thieves, Tech Thief 1. Oh, I should name you our first Tech Thief. Alright, come on now. Nearly there. Wow. Wow. Oh, okay. Okay, well, game. I really wish that once they got wounded, you could just delete them, but I don't think that there's a way that you can. If anybody knows of a way you can, please let me know, because now we have to wait 5 turns and we can't summon a new one, which would be faster in terms of stealing tech. Yeah, now we got screwed over by that. Oh well. And I believe that was it. Was it not? Shulamar has moved out to Renikon. Oh. Why are you suffering attrition? You stopped besieging? Are you kidding me? The heck? Okay, I hate when the game does that. Auto-resolve, I guess. I don't know what the heck that was supposed to be, but you should not have suffered attrition because you should have been besieging. Gift for Quetzal. Just because it's green. And Kugath is green. Alrighty, Tyrannicon, go into encamp stance. You're now a lot more damaged than you should have been, though on the other hand, you heal so much because we have insane amounts of replenishment that it shouldn't matter over much. Head to Black Cap's camp, and let's see. Oh wow, 6 settlements. Okay, decent likelihood we meet Kugath again, but we should be breaking his strength fairly well at this point. Gotta get another army to sort of cross our territory and then move out here. The Skaven, I notice, are still alive over there. And these guys might be able to wipe out the orcs so we don't have to deal with them, which would be great because we dealt with a lot of orcs. Anyway, that should have been now the last move that we had to make. I'm so salty about that tech thief, you guys don't even know. Anyway, let's level everybody up and let's move on. And Nakai still going for Aura of Inertia, so get Scarred Veteran for us, please. Skink Priest. I guess it's time to start moving through these. Oh yeah, Dynamism. We already got that before. Skink Chief, for you. Just trying to get all of these guys to mentor because they're in Nakai's army. Impressive Crest, and none of that is super useful. I just go for Marked for Service. Might as well buff up the limited amount of Chameleon Skinks that we're going to have in this army. You, sir, could get your Forward Scout. We don't really necessarily need to Vanguard deploy. Let's get the weapon strength bonus for now. And frankly, Commence the Massacre would probably be pretty nice as well. Wait, we can get Returning Power without going through reserves of Eldritch Energy? Okay, I don't know what's up with that. Not that it matters right now. It's just weird. Let us get Wilavitsa. Speed reduction, army... Ooh. 5 seconds versus... they're both 5 seconds. Just get Eclipse. Iron Will, Eclipse, etc. Alright, Nakai, it's time to go after Mr. Arbaal. Let's hope he doesn't run away. Yeah, so you're at war with Imric. We'll chat with Mr. Imric here. Go for Challengers of Khorne, and I want to do the non-aggression fact. Fine, we'll declare the war against Clan Krizzar as well. We currently don't have anybody who wants to be... who is even trying to be our defensive allies, which is kind of annoying, because we want some units from some factions. I can't believe it that the Exiles of Nahek were the only ones that really wanted to be friends, and we killed them. That's what I get. Anyway, Arbaal, let's kill you. You at least didn't want to be friends. Nakai's a victim of his own success. Alrighty, and there we go. Let's see. We've got Pyrrhic Victory, Casualty Stats, what I like to see. We got the Garrison, which is pretty solid. Arbaal's own stack, probably having not been defeated so far, as rank 8 pretty much everything, which is very solid stats. Damn. I love it. I'll have to see it. Let's see if he can actually stand up to Nakai. Alrighty, here we go. Arbaal the Undefeated, fortunately quite visible with that banner on his back. Nakai's going to charge right through that line of Chaos Warriors and directly move towards Arbaal, hitting him for about 20% of his HP. Oh, now 30% of his HP, and looks like, I don't know, slightly damaging the Exalted Hero on the backswing or whatever. Anyway, let's see how Arbaal does against this, while the rest of our army positions themselves to fight the rest of the enemy army. Now, the big portion of the enemy army will be coming in as a reinforcement, a full stack and a half. But we are Vanguard deployed, and we will still try to dish out as much damage as possible to this army. Arbaal is down to 40% of his HP, 20% of his HP, and wavering, discouraged. Miasma of Despair probably making him rout rather quickly. He's not unbreakable, and he has done absolutely nothing to damage Nakai whatsoever. Poor Arbaal. Otherwise, we have engaged the enemy with our main stack. Our Carnosaur, our Saurus Scarvet riding Carnosaur, is going after those Skull Crushers, being the most elite enemy unit, while Nakai attempts to chase Arbaal here down. Alrighty, and I believe one more blow should finish him off. And there we go. Trees made it a little bit difficult to see, but oh well, what can you do? Anyway, the Carnosaur is doing pretty good here, especially with the Amazon Barb firing away at those Skull Crushers. Best unit that Arbaal had, but just like Arbaal, they are going to achieve absolutely nothing in this battle. In the meantime, the enemy has plenty of demons, but they are mere fodder to the sacred Kroxigors, who do magical damage with those, whatever the heck those weapons are. And that magical damage means they tear through the bloodletters like nobody's business, and frankly, their armor piercing means that the non-demonic Chaos Warriors are going to be having a pretty darn bad time against them as well. Alright, they are still holding, of course, admirably at that, but how long they'll hold for remains to be seen. The enemy reinforcements, however, have arrived. And with that stack and a half, that's probably a full 40 enemy units on field. And you gotta remember that Nakai's army is no longer full, missing the, I believe, 4 units of the Chameleon Stalkers that are currently in the Firesland's army and Pyroxy's army. 2 minutes and 20 seconds until those guys arrive on the field, so we're just going to have to live with them not being here. Anyway, Nakai getting ready to counter the charge of the newly arriving enemy force. Looks like they do have some weaker units to act as their vanguard in the form of the Furies and the Chaos Warhounds and Fleshhounds and such. And those will probably destroy themselves, but I suppose every single unit that moves into annoy us is a unit that tires our units more, and we do have to be careful about losing vigor and the massive stat reductions. Though that said, Furies versus Kroxigors, especially Kroxigors under healing from the Reviv Crystal, is a pretty darn terrible matchup, and those Furies will get obliterated. Alright, Nakai has also moved ahead of his main stack now, first of all trying to focus down the enemy Blood Shrine, dishing out about half of its HP and damage before moving away, while getting attacked by 2 meatballs. Alright, and the Blood Shrine has moved into the pile of Kroxigors, and frankly I don't think that's a much safer position than it was getting attacked directly by Nakai, because now it's Kroxigors plus Nakai, and the Blood Shrine goes down. And in the meantime, more enemy units are arrived. Nice charge from one of the Kroxigors there into the center of the enemy line. Lord Croak has activated his ability, but you may have noticed that we're not popping off Deliverances of Itza in this particular battle. And just because we want to, you know, have a proper fight. We will, however, use the Engine of the Gods, and man, that is blinding. I guess it's supposed to be. To cut a swath of destruction through the enemy line. That's just such a cool looking ability, I had to use it. Anyway, looks like a big old blob of enemies is essentially over on both sides of our army. Murderous Exhortations comes in from the enemy lord as well. But they're going to have to get through the wall of Kroxigors, and I'm just not sure they have enough anti-large to be able to do that sort of thing. Do love the way that all of our dinos, and I guess our main line, in the sense that the Kroxigors are the main line for Nakai, all tower over the enemy. Alright, how are we doing on the other side? Well, Lord Croak will pop off a Deliverance of Itza, just a basic one here, just because, well, this is his portion of the battlefield. Looks like one of the meatballs has charged right through all of our units and is attempting to go for Lord Croak here, which ain't so great as he's going to start taking a little bit of damage and has dropped by about 20% of his HP. The other units are having a pretty bad time against the dinos, however. And of course the proximity of the Reviv Crystal means that we shouldn't be too worried about Lord Croak. He does have his own regeneration on top of that, as well as recovery, so he's got quite a bit of healing available to him. Otherwise, the balance of power is shifting. In fact, it has shifted to 100% in our favor, and once again, the battle is ours. And the guy's still just rushing around, hop, skip, and jumping through the... Oh my lord, that poor Chaos Warrior just disappeared. And I imagine so did that one as well. Oh, Nakai. Alright, anyway, with that, the enemy army is done. One last meatball that was attacking Lord Croak about to go, and it looks like it will get obliterated by possibly Lord Croak. I thought I saw a final attack from him. Our reinforcements have arrived a little bit too late. Probably the chameleon stalkers won't even be able to help chase, most likely, but at least the flyers will help make sure that most of these guys are destroyed. Nice fight. No, Nakai just casually defeats Arbaal, or obliterates Arbaal, I should say, takes no damage, refuses to elaborate. Absolutely fantastic. The rest of his army is by and large destroyed, and I don't know how much other strength they have, but it's probably not much compared to what they had here. So yeah, we'll do ritual purification because we barely took any damage. Lord Croak took a few hits, probably could have, not chased as much and allowed him to just sit there and regenerate, but all good at the end of the day. We also didn't use Lord Croak's abilities all that much throughout the fight, as I did want to make sure that we actually got a... oh wow, 49,000 damage on the Scales of War. Very nice. Yeah, well done. Hey, finally a unit I named did something. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I wanted to make sure that we actually fought the Cornates and, well, what they wanted. They got what they wanted, though perhaps not quite the way they wanted it. Anyway, a ritual purification. And the rest of that will run away. Let's hope that Nakai can still move just enough to immediately occupy the place, and it looks like he can. Another lucky arrow, another long shot cap, neither one I particularly care for. Arbaal the Defeated gives us 10% vigor loss reduction to the army. I wish it was more. I mean, it's good if you stack it with other stuff, admittedly. But I feel like for a warrior of Arbaal's caliber, it should be a bigger defeat trait, It's certainly not one I would go out of my way to farm, even as powerful as vigor loss is in SFO. Kind of more or less ignore it in vanilla auto-resolve. Alrighty, and we can give it to, I don't know, Quetzal this time? That doesn't really matter. Let's go Quetzal. What do we have here? 29, 28, and 31. Scroll of Leeching. Wait, is that the first one? I think I got another Scroll of Leeching in the Cathay campaign. Oh, another Totem of Prophecy. Nice. Do Slan, regular Slan have regeneration? They do, and the Totem of Prophecy gives you a recovery, so it can combine with regeneration. Oh. I guess on the other hand, if we have a hero that gives recovery to all units in that, or to all things in that army, then yeah. But anyway, Carnosaur Pendant could potentially be useful, but not right now. And, okay, Slan, you need to make sure that you're near these guys, because we don't want you dying. Alright, now, Nakai, you have two things to do. Thing the first, oh wow, we're starting to rack up the cash. 43, damn, we're really close to that 43,000 though. You know what, if we spend a couple of turns, we could max it out to tier 5, which would unlock everything. Well, near so. I was going to build the Salamanders this turn, but I think it'll be better to do this right now. Especially since they're quite expensive to recruit. Yeah, we can just get a decent bit of money from wiping out Arbaal. Doing so, get the pyramids for Nakai, and then we don't have to waste our time or our money on other stuff that's not as needed. I think that's the better plan. Anyway, oh, it's so weird not seeing any settlements in your own settlement list. I believe that's everything. We are besieging this little location. Maybe Skarsnik will come down and play. And we shall see. I'm also thinking that we might want to actually put Tichiwichi's raiders in the red-crested skink army. And just to alter the army slightly. I mean, like I said, because the way Champion of Sota, or Sotek's Champion works, it's attack, melee attack, and melee defense, so it's very much wasted on the range units. And get Tichiwichi's raiders, probably an Oracle. You gotta have an Oracle in a skink army, right? That's two Reviv crystals, and then either 2 more red crests or 2 more chameleon stalkers. I feel like I'm using too many chameleon stalkers. I have a bad habit of doing that because I love the unit so much, but they are nice, and they do have an incredible amount of melee defense when in this army. The other option would be to put yet another skink chief in this army and then buff up the skinks even further, although that might be a little bit much. That would be also vigor loss reduction spam. I'll think about it. I kind of want Tichiwichi's right now. I was about to say I kind of want Tichiwichi's Raiders now, but if we're trying to rack up the money for Nakai, we'll leave it alone. What do we have? 2 turns for Celestial Masters and Jurisdiction of Beasts. Wait, we did that this turn? Huh. I don't think we did it this turn. I think it just left over from the previous turn. You know, I'm just going to pop Celestial Beneficence again because I don't trust myself to remember. And also, I don't know why I zoomed into some random location. Alrighty, anyway, let's see what we are looking at here. No ally stuff. We could take an army from them. We got one here. Is this the... Oh, of course, it's the Lord's army. Huh. Wait, the Lord's army has changed. It used to have 4 Kroxigors. I guess they lost them somehow. We could grab you. But then... Oh, yay, a giant pile of skin cohorts. Honestly, by the time it gets down here, it probably won't be super useful. What about you? You're a little bit closer, but your army's a little bit weaker. You got Saurus and some feral cold ones, though, that this army doesn't have. Frankly, this army isn't all that much further away. Fine, we'll just go this one. It bothers me that that's not a full stack, even if the skin cohorts are kind of useless. You know, this one at least we could reinforce. You know what, let's take this one. We could at least use the feral cold ones to reinforce because they run quick. Not that I once again think that we need to. Huh. I wonder if we could move this army to Red Shield Fort and have them take it. That would mean not having to go up there with Tyrannicon. That would actually save us time, which is great. Anyway, now let's end the turn and see if we can't rack up the rest of that money for Nakai's final tier. I'm still so salty about that tech thief anyway. What do we have here? A relations reduction with the Western provinces who we have met. Oh, good. Well, we should probably chat with them. You know what? I'd love the Winds of Magic Power Reserve, but I would also love a few Cathan units, so I think we'd rather have the friendly relations. But let's give this a read. Relations with the nearby settlements have deteriorated. Their interpretation of the Great Plan may be at odds with the Old One's intentions. Your Slan Mage priests inform you of a new ritual to recharge the Geomantic Web, but the price is a sacrifice. Will you raid for captives and sacrifice them, or leave your neighbors be, as time may yet prove your vision correct? Leave them be. You may need allies soon, and your differences may be resolved with discussion. If this is part of the Great Plan, it must be allowed to play out naturally. Alrighty, and it seems like you can justify just about anything with the with your choice interpretation of the Great Plan, which is why we got Mazda Mundi, who woke up and chose violence, and then other Slan who very much did not. Anyway, you go here, and Nakai, you're going to hit Darius. Darius. I love it when lords have just like a random, like, realistic names, like, I don't know, like John or whatever. It amuses me greatly. Anyway, we do have to knock down. Oh, freaking heck, I didn't realize we were trespassing in Kalador territory. Oh, wait, we can't trespass. I forgot about that, too. We don't have the trespassing penalties for Nakai's faction, which is good. You're gonna go here. Nakai, kill. And auto result. Wait. I had to double check. You never know. Oh, I thought for a second that Cricket was grayed out and I was about to panic, but anyway. Ritual Purification, we need all the money we can get right now because we're nearing the end. Hey, another Sun Standard of Chotek. I can never finish a thought. Keep this for now, I guess. I'm probably going to give that to somebody else. And, Ranger Standard, on Cricket? You know, Strider might be something that Lord Croak could use. Frankly, if we get another Banner of Swiftness, I'd like to put it on Lord Croak. If I really, you know, I've gotten into a weird little habit of sort of building some lords that shouldn't be quick to be zipping around. Ever since we did Greasus and turned him into a chariot that moves as fast as cavalry does, I've been very amused at the prospect, and we're sort of doing the same thing with the Sky Lantern Lord in our Cathay campaign, and I just thought we could put Lord Croak in an army led by a Kroxigor, an ancient Kroxigor that gives plus 20% speed, and then give him a Banner of Swiftness, so he'd get Wayfarer, Strider, and plus 45% speed, and we could probably think of a few other ways to increase that as well, which would also amuse me greatly. But anyway, just a thought. We have to get back to these guys. I guess we should move back towards the Vaults of Plenty for now. Nakai, you can go to the edge of... Okay, just go here. Should be able to reach it afterwards anyway. And you guys gotta keep following him. Alrighty, you go here, and oh, I'm gonna have you oh, you have to march stance. Alright, fair enough. You're gonna go here. You, I guess... Wait. You are going to take... actually, no, that won't work. Yeah, just channel, whatever. It's gonna cost us an extra 400 gold, but we need the extra mana on the Slan army. Nakai... Oh, you know what? Since you're not recruiting right now, transfer back to Ah, freaking heck. Okay, never mind. I wanted to transfer, that won't work. We are going to build the tier 5. 43,000 gold. It's a lot of gold, admittedly, but it's been a long time coming. And this will mean we'll be able to build pyramids, meaning we can get rid of the terrarium. I guess we can get rid of the Feral Beast's lair. You know what, just get rid of the terrarium for now. We won't be able to afford the first pyramid until we get 20k, though admittedly it's not a crazy amount anymore, at least now that we're getting plenty of post-battle loot, so and we're looking a lot better than we were. Now, Cytochroma, you're going to want to go after Quick Head Takers, so you will continue marching this way. And I guess these guys were cowards and decided not to sally out, so it is what it is. And, huh, wait, where did Skarsnik go? I have concerns, and the reason I have concerns is because he likes to ambush, so he's probably right around here. Probably shouldn't get ambushed with this army, as it would probably have a bad day. Then again, half of it is flying units, so maybe it wouldn't. Well, either way, you guys are gonna attack together, just auto-resolve this because it's meh. And did we just get another Sun Standard of Chotek? Okay, I'd love one of these in every army, so I'm pretty happy about it. Get Faritzel. And, stop, I was hoping you wouldn't move this far away. Alright, you guys go here, and oh, you still have all your movement. Ambush defense chance 25% versus... we could try to ambush ourselves. Is this a plague here, isn't it? One turn, should be gone shortly, though. Alright, fine. Maybe Skarsnik is still around here. Shulamar, go up here. No ambush, eh? Maybe he went down here. I don't know what he's doing. Cytochrome, you stay there as well. You are going after Queeky to try to get his defeat trait. Lovely. Next up, we have Mr. Tyrannicon. You are heading down to the Black Cap's camp, like so. They're still damaged, but hopefully we'll be fine. SN fine to auto-resolve. Yes, we are. Auto-resolve, a little bit of damage. What the heck? Wait, did we... what? Okay, I guess we're really blessed by Chotek today. I think this is a sign from the old ones that we really need to get the Chotek army up and running. So I'm going to genuinely take this as a somewhat superstitious sign and actually do that because it's kind of weird. Alright, not that I'm complaining because it's a great item. You're gonna go right here and you're gonna proceed down to Bone Nose's Hold. Wait, you... Tarsik are going to march stance, I guess, right to the edge of the Misty Mountain territory and then proceed towards other Poxmakers territory. And I believe they have 4 settlements remaining? 5. And get in there. But we're definitely going to wipe them out. Also, you know what? Let's do this. We have this and this. We're going to do 1 Blessed Croxagore here. And we're going to do 2 Blessed Croxagores. We're not going to get them into Nakai's army immediately, but we probably will rather shortly. Mostly because I just don't want to pay for them right now. Oh, wait. Well, yeah, let's give it a little bit while we have the pyramids coming, at least to build our first pyramid. Especially the one that increases the Skink Priest capacity, because we need to, you know, steal more tech. Ugh. Alrighty, Skink Priest of Distinction is about to be gone. Here, action cost. Oh, well, lovely. There goes all the cheap tech thievery. Damn you, game. Let's see. Numas wants to be friends, eh? Maybe this is a Tomb King faction that we could ally with. I wonder how they feel about Manfred. He should be south of these guys, right? Wait, no, he should be down here. Yeah. Tons, and yeah, he's got a big territory by the looks of it. Yeah, the Fire Army is going to have a ball down there. Alright, fine. Well, we'll not aggress with King Nectanebo for now. We can always betray him if we eventually want to, but nobody's trying to be our defensive allies. Come on, man. Okay, you know what? Western provinces, come here. Who are you at war with? Loesh's influence, Kazakh, and Yusak. I have no idea who those are, but what I do have an idea of is that we would like to... I could do a defensive alliance for 600 gold. And we are going to do that. I hope these guys don't die. But yeah, finally get some units. Also, will give us a vision of these guys, and then we will not build the outpost because we're saving them money, but we will build it shortly. All right, they have crowmen, which is not exactly what I wanted. Celestial lions might kind of fit. It's the great moonbirds that I really wanted. Could, in theory, use some of their artillery and some other stuff, but anyway. Drums are fantastic in pretty much every non-speedy army, and Lord Croak's army could actually probably use one because it's going to be a blob. What is this? Alright, that's quick. Alright. I believe that's it for this turn. Yes, skip, and then the turn. Alright. Alrighty, I was right. It does look like Skarsnik was nearby and was in ambush stance, trying something sneaky, as he is inclined to do. That's fine. Alright, he does have that Skarsnik's death juice as well. I forget, does he confer that to other units? Gotta be concerned about that. Yeah, he's got all those contact effects all over the place, doesn't he? Just so many. Poison, lethal poison, death juice, the squig thing. Should be fun. Sun Standard of Chotek. Who do we want this on here? Well, the enemy has not really all that much in anti-air. Although we do have to be wary of Ruglad's Armored Orcs, who incidentally have bleed on their missile attacks. We also have the Goblin Bolt Throwers and stuff. I guess I'm going to put this on the Lord for now, although... Nah, I'm going to put it on the Lord for now, and then I'll think about it. It may change as we go. Anyway, I think this will be a fun battle, go. Huh. How's Skarsnik able to use the Doomdiver ability? Our entire melee line is in stock. They shouldn't be visible at all. Huh, wait, is the AI cheating, or did it try to drop those on top of the flyers, which would have probably not been very effective? I'm not entirely sure, and most likely we'll never know. And ooh, cool sight of the Pterodon riders in a sort of frozen mountainous terrain, and also coming over those rocks. I love it. And definitely nice to see a lizardmen in varied biomes. You don't expect them in the you don't expect them here as opposed to the jungle. Oh, technically I guess we haven't actually had a single jungle battle yet since we've been in the Badlands. Not to worry though, as we get more and more armies, they'll be going in various directions and finding what foes they can. Anyway, we're going to start the battle off by trying to annoy and destroy the enemy Ruglad's Armored Orcs, as they are quite the threat to our units of Fire Leech Bolas. Fortunately, with I believe 2 of them attacking the Ruglad's Orcs, and the others dealing with the Rock Lobber and the other unit of archers. These guys should be out of the picture reasonably soon, or at the very least should rout reasonably soon. The other Pterodon riders, the Javelin Chuckers, are chucking their javelins to great effect and killing off the Orc Shaman to make sure that he's not casting anything. Like so, down goes the Shaman, down goes the Boar. There's a few other things to take care of, like the Goblin Bolt Throwers, but they're already very much on the way out, as we did manage to drop our bombs upon them. Alright, and haven't even sent in the Skink Skirmishers yet. Frankly, I was expecting the enemy to come to us, and at least at this point, since we've annoyed them quite a lot with our air units. But if they're not going to come to us, we'll go to them. Anyway, looks like some Mangler Squigs have moved in to attack our unit of Razordons here, which is kind of an interesting matchup here. And is the enemy going to drop another one of those Doomdiver Assault things? I don't know the name of the ability. The Doomdiver something. Alrighty, the Mangler Squigs are down to about half HP. The Razordawn hunting pack are down to about half HP as well. Frankly, I think without the Doom Divers, the Razordawns might have actually defeated the Mangler Squig. Fortunately, though, we've got the Pterodon Riders moving in to help, and they're Javelin chucking, assuming that a Javelin can actually hit a Mangler Squig, because that's got to be a heck of a moving target to even attempt. And there we go, the Mangler Squigs will go down. Our Skirmishers are moving on in as well. Let's just speed this up well, actually. We can move on in here, and Skarsnik has brought plenty of heroes to this particular battle. We got 2 Black Orc big bosses, that Night Gob war boss, of course Skarsnik himself, another Gob boss, another Gob boss, and we killed that Shaman as well. Yeah, imagine having all the money and capacity for all of these extra heroes. Feeling a little bit jealous here. Anyway, I'm gonna pop off that Storm of Sri Lanka. It does look like Ruglad's armored orcs have rallied, and we're gonna make sure that the Storm makes sure they don't come back, especially backed up as it is by a Flock of Doom. And we got a half Flock of Doom coming down with our flying army. Only makes sense to do so. Anyway, our skirmishers are getting closer and closer to the enemy. Well, Skarsnik himself is down to about 75% of his HP. Does look like at last some of the enemy will charge us. Though unfortunately for the pump wagons, those that get trapped where the stegas are going to get absolutely wrecked. Alright, Mangler Squigs trying to join those pump wagons, huh? Kind of a neat combination. Gotta remember to try to make an army out of pump wagons and Mangler Squigs in my next Greenskin campaign. Sounds like it would be fun. Alrighty, and I do believe the battle is very nearly ours at this point. The bounce power is at about 90% in our favor, and in fact, just as Skarsnik gets into combat and lands the first of his blows, his army will shatter, and the battle is ours. Poor little guy got to do absolutely nothing in this particular battle. Once again, I've said it before, but when you have a decent-sized air force against armies that have little recourse against it, it's always just obnoxious. Alright, and I do imagine we should be able to bring Skarsnik down with a copious amount of darts and javelins. As above, so below, and Skarsnik will go down, leaving a bloody path on his attempt to escape. A lovely fight. Alright, there we go. Maybe I should have actually spent some of the alignments before doing that on those blesseds. Well, I guess we still needed the money. Anyway, did pretty darn well. The enemy did very little damage, and frankly, I feel like Skarsnik, poor little guy, didn't know what to do there. And kind of serendipitous, I think. Skarsnik gives melee, or not melee, ambush defense and ambush success chance, doesn't he? And this is the exact army that wants that. So, kind of serendipitous that this is the army that ended up going after him. I mean, I planned it. I planned this whole thing, guys. Anyway, we are going to take the money again. And dangerous wins. Damn. I mean, profit is really, really good. But the 20 research loss, especially since our tech thief died, critically failed. I guess we should still take it, because it'll mean leveling up our new lords all that much faster, but damn it if this isn't a huge debuff. I hear them, I hear them. Do you hear the voices too? Anyway, while succeeds, ambusher discovered, ally mission, enemy killed, yada 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 yada. Yeah, there we go. Ambush success and defense chance is massive with this army now. And hey, a pigeon plucker pendant. Okay, that was actually a useful find, because I believe we didn't have one, and I did want one specifically for the little flying skink chief, this one, the one that leads our air squadron. You will want to... Oh, you already have a pigeon plucker pendant, never mind. But we will, I guess we'll need another one for our other aerial armies. Also, let's take a look at what we got in terms of items. Scroll of Shielding, I don't particularly care for, but I do want the Rods of the Storm. And because we're keeping those for our lightning army, Tlashbach the Thunderer to make his return, melee defense and range, kind of meh on the lucky arrows to be honest. You know, I'll get rid of the lucky arrows. Fuse, Brass Cleaver, very nice fusion. Alright, Dragonbane Gem is also terrible, although... Nah, it's still terrible. Talisman Protection is fine, anything we can fuse that with? Not really. Now, we have a bunch of green items that we could sort of swap around. I usually take a little break from giving out items while we get new armies rather on field, because they will come with new heroes, and I don't want to redo it, so we'll just hold off on that for now. What we do want, though, is this army needs a Tormentor Sword, which it... Oh, it already has it. All right. I guess I did that previously, which is good. What do we have in Black Iron Mine defenses-wise? I'd actually warrant us moving over there. I suppose you could reinforce? No, you cannot. Alright, fine. I suppose. I assume that Queek is still standing around out there, so you're gonna go right here towards him. We'll see if he deigns to attack you. You are going to go on and destroy this little army. Like so, and destroy, and oh, this'll... I shouldn't have auto-resolved that. Yeah, that'll probably dish out enough damage for us not to be able to... Okay, release captives. For us not to be able to auto-resolve the Black Iron Mine battle. Pyrrhic victory and 2 units lost, eh? Besiege them for a turn. Honestly, it's not much of a garrison. We could just, you know, I might just manually fight that. It's such a minor battle, and I don't want to waste the turn waiting for it. Let us, before we do so... We don't need Epicentrist, we don't need Jungle Dominion in this army. I guess, even though this army is pretty darn cheap, I will nonetheless suggest that we proceed through Ancient Cunning. More ambush, might as well lean into it. Yeah, proceed through Ancient Cunning, and we may as well get Geometric Sustenance as well. What about you guys? You are... Well, we should probably still grab... Energetic. Max out the skinks first and then worry about the other stuff later. And then the skink priest, the beast priest. Magical reserves for you. Ooh, into Arcane Conduit. Very nice. Still gotta get that scouting though, because more items equals better. Okay, we're gonna fight that manually in a sec. Look at that. Beautiful. Ascendant Ziggurat of Quashatna. You are going to be able to reach Vaults of Plenty. Fantastic. Hopefully there are... These guys will be able to reach it too, and by the looks of it they will. We'll use them to reinforce, and... it's mostly flesh hounds. This frankly isn't worth our time. Oh, Nakai's time. Anyway, you are going to encamp stance and then move here. You are going to encamp stance presumably and move here. Just in case they need to build stuff, though we'll need to spend a little bit of that money on our first pyramid. Come on. Like so, and double check, triple check. Okay, nobody's dying. A little bit of damage, but it's fine, and then we'll give those to... I don't know, Sri Lanka this time. What are we at? 34, 31, and 30. Obsidian Lodestone, Enchanted Shield, another Talisman of Preservation. Very nice find. Probably not for you, but very nice find nonetheless. We will... Well, we're looking to wipe out Arbaal now, plus we have to meet with our other armies, so we are going to start heading down there. You're going to go here. You're gonna go here. I think this is an absolutely critical episode in the sense that this episode will complete most of the recruitment buildings for Nakai all together. First of all, hero capacity increase, and then we've got upkeep reduction, and then we've got movement range for army. What does this do? Experience this too. Okay, post-battle loot, and we want to build our first pyramid. And the first pyramid that it will be... Oh, wait, the pyramids don't increase hero capacities? Oh, that's a bit of a shame, but nonetheless. I guess it will be this one. This provides Razordon and Salamander hunting packs. Oh, actually, this pyramid does the Skink Chief. It is only a +1, but we'll build the other pyramid rather soon as well, in a couple of turns, so... Yeah. Oh, assuming that we actually have the horde growth, and we will need the extra horde growth, eh? Does this provide additional horde growth? No, just a unit experience. Not that that's a bad thing. You know what? I think we'll forego upgrading these two because it's 12 points and I'd rather build the other pyramid first. And I guess then we can just get rid of the hunting pack pen, and just replace it next with the pyramid that gives us that stuff. And we'll build the Saurus and Horned one and Temple Guard one last because that'll be after these. It'll be after the Fire Army, but it'll be next on the menu. And yeah, now we won't need to save up money anymore, which is fantastic. Yeah, fine. Get rid of the fire thing. We'll build it up next turn. Actually, will we actually have enough to build it next turn? That's the most expensive one, right? Yeah, it is. Well, 2 turns. Not a big deal. The rest of you, save your money. You're gonna need it. Next up, Tyrannicon. You will be able to reach Malefics the Beslimed. Good name. I'd love to get you your Oracle... Huh? I should have put you in camp stance. You're suffering attrition. My bad. I didn't think that this place would maintain the Nurglite corruption. Bone Nose's hold doesn't have much in the way of a garrison, but the game might force us to fight it by killing off one of our red crests. Alright, and then we can pop the Sun Standard of Chotek. I think we'll keep the Skink Priest of Beasts. Assuming that these 2 Skink Chiefs will be on dinos, maybe the Beast Priest will be on a dino as well. Or on maintained on a flyer, rather. Frickin' Regiments of Renown, Heatherbillies, Thunderguff, and Uncle Furuncle are back. Every single time, Tyrannicon is really having to deal with these guys. You know what? Put it on the central Basti for now. And then we'll figure that out. Anyway, let's see who else needs to move. Tarsik, who are you again? Oh, right, this guy. You can not reach this place, and oh, you can't avoid attrition. That's kind of annoying. You can't encamp, and you can't... I guess we have a special encamp stance and a special... go figure. Alright, fine. Special encamp stance and a special raid. Well, we don't have a raiding stance, but yeah, since you can't avoid it, you can't avoid it. I assume your channeling doesn't avoid attrition. I feel like maybe, considering that Lizardmen channeling costs an upkeep increase of 25%, maybe it should also make you make you immune to channeling. Anyway, we're gonna do this little fight manually real quick. This one. Fight. Shouldn't be any trouble, I do believe. Let's see, what do they have in terms of anti-air? Whatever it was, it didn't seem like much, and okay. The black screen was there a little bit longer than I would have liked. Also, while the battle is loading, unfortunately, last episode we didn't quite reach the engagement threshold, but, I mean, we're a little bit off schedule right now because of that one episode a couple of episodes back where I posted it 12 hours later because the upload failed and then my internet's slow and then it was a whole thing. So I'm just going to assume at this point that people are still catching up, being one episode behind and all that. But yeah, engagement threshold remains at 400 likes and 60 comments for the next episode to be an hour long as well, at least until the 13th episode, wherein we will lower the engagement threshold again. Anyway, you guys are going to be group 1, you guys are going to be group 2, we'll sort of send the skinks in. That isn't as critical though. A and B, they don't like being in the you know what? This is probably a better place. They don't like to be in this location and the narrow sort of walkways and stuff. Okay, you know what, just like that. And then you guys go here. You guys are gonna be group 3. Group 1 can move on in first. Group 2 can move on in second, and you actually should be part of group 2. You're the sort of air superiority little guy. Alrighty, I think that's it. No, we forgot somebody. Who's over here? Oh, I forgot one of the chameleon skinks somehow. Alright, fine. Whatever. I thought I swapped these guys around, but that's fine. Alright, good. Start battle and move on in. And, okay, you're gonna go here. You guys are gonna go... you know what? Immediately summon a Razordon unit. And you guys go attack this. I'll have the Razordons help out with that real quick. Should be able to knock the tower down reasonably fast. Alright, you guys are gonna go after... Okay, you know what? You all are gonna switch to melee mode, and then you... Speed this up. Kill off that unit of anti-air. Alright, what else do we have in terms of anti-air? Ah, I see another anti-air unit back there. Anti-air back there, and... gonna pop that up. Doesn't really matter if it hits or not, just gotta make sure that... Okay, that tower is destroyed. Let's move on in, and let's get the big boys in, and maybe a couple of the skink skirmishers. Or just wait for our aerial units to do most of the work. Alright, speed it back up. Alright, the Storm of Sri Lanka did wipe out one unit, not much, but that's it works for our purposes. And okay, that anti-air unit is done for. You guys are good. How's that tower looking? Oh wow, you guys are taking damage, presumably from the tower. Alright. Alright, how are we doing here? Skinks moving. Always feels so weird to be playing at max speed. Alright, group. Move, move, move. And, I don't know, summon you here. Did you guys destroy the tower yet? Damn, it's taking you forever to do so. And you're losing one of the Pterodon riders, or they've taken more damage than they would have liked. Probably should have just made them invincible or attacked at a distance, but anyway. Guys, move in, destroy that anti-air unit. Tower is down now, group 2, so you can turn off skirmish mode, move in, and then turn off melee mode as well, and then attack that Night Goblin war boss. Some Black Orcs around here, alright. You guys are left there, everybody else move in. Group 3, like so. And then the big boys, you guys all go here. Probably could have cast a few spells, but at max speed it doesn't, once again, really matter. Alright, summon, attack, and battle should be ours. Ooh, stop paying attention for a few seconds, and we take a little bit of anti-air damage. I thought there were none of these guys left. Alright, anybody here? Oh, another anti-air unit. Okay, I was just about to pop that Storm of Sri Lanka down, and there we go. Alrighty, a couple of Pterodon riders fell from the sky, but otherwise not a huge deal. And even then, obviously, since the auto-resolve was saying we were going to lose a bunch of units. Yeah, when you use all the Pterodon riders to blob up in that manner, generally speaking the same thing for any aerial unit, any towers that have splash damage, and I believe in SFO more towers have splash damage, will thus hit into the blob and then, you know, do a lot of damage. So gotta be careful about blobbing up. Which is, I guess, a piece of good advice for the game in general, especially if the enemy has casters or artillery or whatnot. Anyway, though sometimes it's also nice to take a big hit just for cinematic purposes. It's a lot easier to justify when you have a lot of casualty or punishment, right? Then you don't have to worry about min-maxing battles, you know. When you have very little, then... Oh, Crooked Moon destroyed. There we go. I guess they weren't... what were you having so much trouble with there, Belagar? Really wasn't an issue at all. I guess you can head down to Clan Verms, so you can just encamp here, and then I'm just going to assume that you can jump, or at least I hope. I guess we'll see. Maybe, maybe not. Alright, we're gonna give these guys a chance to sally out and attack Tyrannicon. I'm not 100% sure whether they will, but they should be given the opportunity to do so. Might be a little bit easier. Tyrannicon, do you have... Okay, you do have some points. Do we care about these points right now? Geomantic Cestus? Oh, yes, we very much care about these points. So we need Spawnkin and we need Epicentrist. So Spawnkin and... Yeah, funnily enough, if we get to Chiwichis, we'll need Soulbound as well. Actually, get to stand your ground first. Epicentrist isn't actually a very good buff. Minor amount of armor on units that are already super heavily armored, and charge bonus and leadership, meh. I guess the leadership was good on the feral units at least, but otherwise kind of a meh. Kind of a meh buff, generally speaking. Resilient. And I'm gonna do this now because there's a decent likelihood once again that they sally out. You have Master Scout already, hardy spawning. We haven't taken attrition periodically with this army, not that it's a huge deal. Do we need... Wait, what do you have the Pterodon as your mount, and you have the Pterodon as your mount as well. You're gonna switch to Dino shortly. Let's get you Vanguard deployment and Guerrilla Fighter. Might want somebody to be able to deploy together with the Chameleon Stalkers. Seems like a decent thing to do. Anyway, these guys are good at where they are. You guys are good where you are. We are on the way to building our first pyramid. I'm hoping that we can still move while that's being constructed, like if we switch positions. I guess we're gonna find out. Skip, 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 skip. And, oh. I was about to say there's an outpost available with the western provinces, but maybe it's not super critical. I would actually like to check out other lords. We got another Chotek embodied. We still have that scaled leader for that speed increase. Another Sotek's champion. What about the Saurus? We do have another Sky Marshal as well. And considering this does apply to the... And does it apply to Riperdactyl Riders, although funnily enough... It seems like these guys buff Riperdactyls more than the red-crested skinks do, even though they have a... even though they have a Riperdactyl mount and these guys don't. Anyway, nothing too critical. Alright, and they will indeed sally out. No Kugath this time, no Soul Grinder, but 5 beasts of Nurgle, so 20 beasts of Nurgle, all told, plus the Uncle for Uncle and Bilious Thunderguffs, both of which have massive amounts of resistances and spells. You have Flesh, you have Blight Boil? Oh, Lord, okay. Gonna have to deal with that as well. Alright, good luck to Renikon and all your skinks. Alright, here we go, another Nurgle fight for Tyrannicon, and this time I decided to hedge my bets a little bit, only partially deploying our army to move through one of the choke points, and then maybe a third of them will move through the other. We deployed the various range skinks over on the left flank rather than the right flank this time, but unlike Kugath, who deployed here and here, this army deployed pretty much in the exact center, which is what I expected Kugath to do. And I'm very interested by the fact that the AI chose not to do that with this army, but did do it with Kugath. I imagine that the reason for such was because of the presence of Kugath and that Soul Grinder, and just generally speaking, the artillery capability of that particular army. Anyway, we're going to try to get that Storm Shalanka on cooldown. It's not going to hit a lot of enemies or do a lot of damage, but we can't really trust it since it's sort of very inaccurate spell. Can't really trust it near our own unit, so I just wanted to make sure to clip at least a few of the enemies. Anyway, we're going to head directly towards the enemies with our Stegs. Still haven't decided whether we're going to keep the red-crested Skink Chief and the, well, generally speaking, Skink Chiefs on those mounts, but we'll see. Similar to the last fight, the enemy's going to use a Blight Boil, but this time we're ready for it, and we're going to use Protection of Quetzal to make the unit that it's about to hit invulnerable, meaning it's going to pop off and obliterate 2 of its own units and do no damage whatsoever to our red-crested skinks. Fantastic. Learned my lesson from nearly losing a unit of red-crested skinks against Kugath to watch out for that Blight Boil. And that's the only Blight Boil this particular army has, however, as that was from Uncle for Uncle. So now we no longer have to worry. Anyway, the main battle is joined and looks like a pretty darn cool one, with the little tiny units fighting below and the monstrous units towering over everything from both sides. Of course, Uncle for Uncle and the enemy Bilious Thunderguff are going to take a lot of effort to bring down, but fortunately, since the enemy is blobbed up nicely, our overcast Flocks of Doom should repeatedly be able to dish out massive damage. The enemy does move a unit of Beasts of Nurgle as well as both of its units of Furies towards our range line, so the units of Skink cohorts with Javelins are going to have to take care of themselves, more or less for a little bit, as the melee portion of our army is just a little bit busy. Starting to summon some Razor Dawns now. We got 2 on field, plus the Skink Skirmishers ready to fire into the backs of the enemy army, as there are still tons and tons of units in the fight. Once again, all that regen and such on the big boys means that the Red Crests are going to have to take quite a bit of time to bring them all down. Tactically, though, there isn't too much else to say about this particular fight. We are going to try to knock down the enemy unit of Plague Drones, Death's Heads, from the sky, but it's just grind the enemy down, slowly but surely. Grind them down, wear them down, etc. It does look like our range units, led by our Skink Chief here, have managed to destroy that unit of Beasts of Nurgle, and we are backing off the cohort of Sotek, which at this point, having been in the center of the line, shed about 50% of their HP. One of our ancient Stegs is facing off against the Great Unclean One, while our range units attempt to focus down the Thunderguff and the Uncle for Uncle, or just Uncle for Uncle. No V. Although I suppose in some ways he is a V. Anyway, he's going to pop up some ability. Was that Miasma Pestilence? Yeah, that was Miasma Pestilence. Oh. Miasma Pestilence causes a minus 50% mass reduction. That's kind of interesting. I never thought of trying to combine different forms of mass reduction against an enemy, like, I don't know, ogres. Can you send ogres flying like you could, I don't know, Skaven slaves or skinks if their mass has been reduced to super, super little? I gotta remember to try that out in some campaign. Stacking effects similar to the way that we do poison is always nice. Anyway, Uncle for Uncle goes down at last. We've been firing away at him for what, like 2 minutes straight non-stop with pretty much all of our range. We're now going to switch to the Bilious Thunderguff, but it looks like the enemy is pretty much done for at this point. And the fact that they blobbed up probably worked out quite well for us, as well as our skink chief, our skink priest rather, managed to rack up 99 kills and 66,000 damage, which is pretty darn solid. Oh, look at all those spines coming in from the Razordon there. Razordons. Who will find the javelins as well, who will finally bring that Thunderguff down. I was gonna do the, oh, and he's gonna crush a few skinks as he lands on them. Poor little guys. And oh my lord, is that the enemy? I think that's an enemy cultist. Yeah, all those spines at once are kind of like machine guns, and just look at them like bullets just whizzing through the trees and the ground. You can hear, well, you can actually hear the whizzing. Pretty neat. Yeah, anyway, as I was starting to say, I was going to put the skink cohorts with javelins and... did that guy just have one of the Razordon's spines stuck in his neck? I was going to put the skink cohorts with javelins, loses his head, in the Chotek army. But now I'm thinking, what if we combine the Razordons with skink cohorts with javelins for like a short-range, high-damage range army? It might be kind of a neat idea, though without Vanguard deployment, they're going to have a real tough time actually getting to the enemy units. Plus, there's of course the fact that they wouldn't be able to be in combat for too long. Still, as another potential skink army, it's certainly something to think about, something to skink about, I should say. Anyway, the enemy army is destroyed and the battle's ours. Nice. Ooh, alright, it took a long time to bring Uncle for Uncle and the Bilious Thunderguff down. They both managed to rack up, what, 10 to 13.5k damage? Probably a lot more than the rest of their army, but hardly surprising. Decent likelihood we meet them again if the enemy just raises them again next turn, but not much we can do about it. We did get a decent amount of money for our trouble, and that's good because it means more pyramids. We only got 3 to build, well, down to 2 now, so definitely getting there. Alright, affection encountered Reichland. Alright. Enemy killed in battle. Reglyph necklace, not bad. Kidnapper, more post-battle loot. USAC destroyed. I could have used that. Well, actually, the SFO probably is not super useful because of the poison. Yeah, some assassination. That was never going to happen. Anyway, Nakai. Alright, oh, you're actually out of range of Gordonar's lair. That's a bit unfortunate, but you can move there anyway, or close to it. And wait, did I move you too far? These guys should actually try to catch up to you. Stay near you. Alright, you go here. Probably should have set you to channeling again while we're at it. Although we do need the money for the pyramids, although... Okay, wait, Nakai, back into encamp stance. Your Pyramid 1 will continue. Let's build Pyramid 2. Or do we wait for the Pyramid? It's probably more important that we build the Beast Pyramid because it has the fire units for the fire army. So we'll do that next turn. That's fine. Alrighty, and we could use a little bit of money. Wait, do these cost any money? Oh, yeah, they do. Okay, I don't know. They do. In fact, that we couldn't afford this one right now anyway, so we'll hold off. We will upgrade Cricket's Horde as well, just in a little bit. It's alright. At least this way, if we're moving and not fighting, it just means that we'll be fighting relatively soon. Speaking of fighting, we got Quiki nearby, though we might want to allow him to come in as a reinforcement since... Well, I don't know what's in Gajur minds, but I do know that we wouldn't be able to chase all of those rats down, and, well, that is obviously an issue. Now, I would like to see... you can move down here? Just a little bit too far by the looks of it. Well, that's a shame. Okay, that's kind of concerning. Well, I mean, we don't really care about the territory, but okay, fine. Let's hope that you can, if you go right to the edge of this, that you can move far enough to come down here. I hate to not move you, but it is what it is. Site of crime you're about to fight, Tyrannicon. You have to auto-resolve this. And then you will go for gift of, I don't know, Quetzal this time. And another Sun-Standard of Chota. No, seriously, what the heck is going on? Was there a tech that just gives us non-stop Sun-Standards of Chotek, or is just Chotek's watching us? It's, I like it. I like it when he watches. Anyway, Stegodon, Conscript, I'm gonna say, wait. Is that one of these guys? A moment. Okay, that is one of these guys. I just gotta make sure that the other one doesn't get the wrong mount. You will encamp, I guess. I don't know why I keep popping you into encamp stand. Oh, it's just immunity to most attrition. And let's proceed to Death Gorge. Very near to wiping Kugath out now. Okay, let's also check diplomacy. Once again, I feel like we haven't done it in a while. Legion of Setep wants to be friends. Who the heck are Legion of Setep? They're fighting Bugman's Brewery, and they're fighting dwarfs and a bunch of Skaven. That's kind of interesting. Main threat is Reichland, meaning probably don't want to be friends with them. Peace with the Poxmakers, no, and once again, nobody wants to be our ally. Nobody wants to be our friend. Alright, ally missions. I don't know, we're going after this guy right now, right? What's your name? Blight 10 Scratch. Try you. Not that we're getting too much use out of these little armies anyway. Speaking of these little armies, we got one running around somewhere. And I don't remember where anymore. Oh, alright, it's right here. Alright, Tarsik. Go for... I don't know why I switched command... Well, yeah, keeping this one. Go for Red Shield Fort. I'm just gonna auto-resolve it because this is obviously a hilarious waste of time. Do that, and we should still be able to give this. Let's go for Sri Lanka. This time around, spell Shield that you won't keep. You are now barely damaged. You would not be able to take Karaga Road anyway. We could try to move you towards Stitch Skull's Hold. All the while taking attrition. Give it a try. Saving turns for this army would be great. I wonder who's over here then. It is Burning Face Greenskins, a faction that we don't admittedly care all that much about. Alrighty, and I believe that's another quick end turn. We were looking to get the next pyramid up and running, so yeah. Oh, can't even see what this one's called. We have Pyramid, we have Skink Forges, Pyramid of the Old Ones, and then something we can't tell. Alright, also, we do have a decent amount of Old Ones favors, so we could get those two... Well, you know what, we're saving money for the pyramid. We'll wait until the pyramids are done, and then we'll get the two Blessed Croxagors in. Or maybe next turn, I'll think about it. Yeah, oh, wait, how many turns have we passed? Celestial Beneficence is still up and running. Okay, let's go, okay, I'm gonna forget again. Let's go Jurisdiction of Beasts, and let's go Celestial Beneficence as well. Like so. I'm tempted to just put like 10 points in those. Also, did we get a new Skink Priest capacity or no? Oh no, wait, this is coming in several turns. Okay, so just skip. Alright, man, just as I ended the turn, I realized that I wanted to attack Queeky here. Hopefully he didn't run away. He could be in Gujur Mines, or he could be attempting to ambush this army. I don't know. Darn, but, well, too late now, I guess. And this army is gone as well? Huh, it's moved back. Alright, well, that doesn't change the fact that... Okay, we can go down here with this army, though. Beautiful. Go down here we shall. Also, what the heck is this? Why are you doing this? What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 heroes? 4 heroes around us? And, ooh, hello, Clan Krizor. Huh. Seems kind of like a relatively realistic Skaven army. Gigantic pile of Skaven slaves and a few elites. Interesting. Anyway, Nakai, you're gonna head to Gordnar's lair for obvious reasons. You guys are gonna reinforce and take that lovely XP. And, you know what we should do? Wait. I think we have something on possibly some of these guys that will reduce hero action success chance. I don't want them killing off any of our heroes here. Obviously, this is an auto-resolve. And then we'll give it to Sri Lanka this time. Enemy killed in battle. Another Trickster Shard. Oh, that's going to... Seriously, what the heck? Some standard of Joe Tech. It's... I hope that doesn't mean that we get nothing but Sun Standards of Chotek now, like that it's not broken and we get no more of any other kind of ancillary. Has anybody experienced this before? It's weird. I don't remember it happening last time I played Lizards. Anyway, Nakai, wait, I mean, I guess we could put you into March Stance, right? Still catch up to Nakai, just go to the edge of this. Just ignore this guy. We gotta wipe out Arbaal. Go here. And then go here, and then you go here. I doubt that these guys are gonna go for us. They might try to attack some of our allies' territory. Anyway, what I wanted to see was this King Chief. Is this enemy hero succession? Oh, but it's against you. I assume it's not the army? Lots of enemy hero success chance, but oh wow, you only leveled up with 1 level after all that? But 3 levels for Nakai. I guess he's getting some levels at least, which is good. How many for Lord Croak? 2. Something. We'll deal with those later. Anyway, I did say I wanted one more fight, or maybe I just thought it. Oh, wait. This guy gets a little... we can build him an actual horde if we wanted to. We don't want to or need to, it's just kind of interesting. Go to Stitched Skull's hold. I want to see if you can auto-resolve it without us needing to move all the way over there with Tyrannicon's force. It would be swably. It doesn't matter if you die, and there we go. Lovely. Alright, give her Itzel, or somebody. Another blood statuette of spite. Frankly, it doesn't seem to be the most useful item, but it is what it is. You're gonna go to Death Gorge. And I imagine that this will also be auto-resolvable. And Kugath will be down to 1 settlement. No more fighting Nurgle after this Quetzal. Alright, on the jet and encamp just in case you start suffering attrition from something. Move past it. Courageous for Tyrannicon. Yeah, he is courageous, and his entire army is damn courageous. Also, before I forget, Pyramid number 2, yes? Nakai, that's you. With Pyramid number 2. Alright. And now we just have to wait, what, 4 turns until we've got the final pyramid. I guess we could delete this one as well. We will need additional special Basti capacity. We're certainly not going to spend 2 turns sitting there waiting to build special Basties right now until we start doing more recruiting. Oh, wait, I wonder if anything here will reduce the recruitment time. No. No. No, darn. Oh, I was hoping. What's your special Basti capacity right now? It's nothing anyway, meaning, yeah, just get rid of this. It's going to be replaced with the pyramid anyway. Oh, wait, should we... A moment. This gives us a Skink Chief capacity. This gives us... Okay, wait. Coatl Ripperdactyl, Source Scarvet capacity, and... Oh. I guess we'll build this building. Plus it gives one the magic power reserve capacity in the army. Nothing else would be useful since we already get the Feral Cold one, so yeah, we'll build the Exalted Star Chamber in this army instead. So, immediately get rid of this building and this building. To be replaced by the final pyramid and the final thing. Hi, I wonder if these give us growth back. I don't think so, but who knows. Alrighty, anyway, one more fight. I know the episode is starting to go long now, but okay, where was that fight? I do want to see if Queeky is there. Oh, let's see what we got. To Gujur Mines. And Quick Head Taker, Pyrrhic Victory, casualties high, yes please, and oh my. We got 3 uses of Menace below, we got Lord of Clan Moors. Contact. Exalted by Quick Head Taker grants bonuses to friendly unit, just a massive bonus. Duration 1 second. Oh, grants bonuses 10,000 seconds, so basically forever. And then we got the Moors Clan Stone, we got lots and lots of ratlings, and of course the Clan Rats are powered up by Clan Moors and Queek, and yeah, it should be a pretty fun fight. Go. Alrighty, here we go. One incomplete stack made out of a random smattering of troops thrown together versus two rat stacks led by Queek Headtaker. Man, you gotta love the armor on the Kroxigor Ancients or Ancient Kroxigors. They're just, that's Kroxigor Ancient. It's just fantastic. As always, you gotta love Lizardmen aesthetics. Absolutely glorious. Anyway, yeah, let's see what we can do here. That's a lot of rats over there, and we're going to start the battle off to make sure that we can approach the enemy by summoning a unit of Razordons on the right flank, not directly on top of the enemy blob, but just on the right flank where they can get a few volleys into the enemy artillery piece. We're also going to get that Storm of Shalanka on cooldown, and it'll actually clip a fair few rats. Not going to do a crazy amount of damage, mind you, but we've taken about half HP off a couple of the basic units of clan rats, so I will certainly take that. And it looks like the Razordons did their duty, managing to quickly overwhelm the Plague Claw catapults with their fire, and by and large, even if they rally, all but one of the actual catapults have been destroyed. The enemy got quite annoyed at us doing that, however, and is moving its units of wolf rats to hunt those Razordons down. And by the looks of it, dish out plenty of damage to them. I would have thought that the Razordons should be able to fight off a unit of wolf rats in melee, but perhaps not. Perhaps not the summoned version. If we had an upgraded high veterancy unit, I imagine that they would be able to. No problem. Anyway, time for the rest of the army to move on in. We're going to start with the Chain Lightning coming in from the... Oh, look at the charge of the Kroxigors. Chain Lightning coming in from our Skink Priest, as the Kroxigors, as we can see, charge right in. With a little bit of backup from the dinos. Rather than waiting for the solar engines to fire away at the enemy, we're going to send them directly into melee. The simple reason being that this was sort of an uphill fight. We started here, and they just would have been too inaccurate to even try this. In the center, Cytocrom is going after Queek Headtaker directly, and we'll see how the two face off against each other, though I'm sure they'll be whacking away at each other for quite a while. While over on the right flank is where we deployed our fast movers, our two units of Cold One Riders and our Feral Cold Ones as well, trying their best to surround and destroy the enemy. And I do imagine a unit of Feral Cold Ones sufficiently high veterancy and with buffs should be able to dish out enough damage to kill off a unit of Clan Rats. Though I guess we'll see. And we're going to help him out a little bit by dropping a few Urnon's Thunderbolts into the blob of Clan Rats as well. Over on the right flank, or rightmost flank, I should say. Also, how's Queek doing before I forget? He's still okay. He's lost about 45% of his HP, but anyway, over on the rightmost flank, we have made the Cold One Spear Riders invulnerable with that protection of Quetzal, as they are now fighting the Council Guard Storm Vermin with halberds, backed up by two units of Clan Rats with spears, and we certainly don't want to allow the Council Guard to obliterate them. Fortunately, we're getting a little bit of backup from the Razordons, which are focusing down the Council Guard in particular. Speaking of focusing down, our Lord is still attempting to kill off Queek Headtaker, and is doing so fairly successfully, I might add, as Queek is down to half of his HP. And our Lord so far is more or less completely fine. I think it's a little bit deceptive in the sense that, as we've seen with Nakai, it looks like they take no damage, but they probably take a few blows here and there, nice punch, and then just simply have the recovery that's available to them heal them up. Alright, it looks like Queeky's down to 30% of his HP now. His army having a pretty bad day. We're going to drop another Chain Lightning upon them as well. The enemy's left flank has now completely collapsed, and Queek, by the looks of it, is done for. Nice swing right to Queek's back. That looked really painful, and I do believe Queek will be brought down. Well done, Cytocrom. Well done indeed. Queek is done, and with him I do imagine the morale of his entire army is going to suffer quite a bit. We have suffered a fair bit of damage ourselves, mostly to our fragile units. That includes Raptor Rumble here, who are down to 50% of their HP, and pretty much all of our Skinks, and at least one unit of Kroxigors, the pets of Steve Irwin, who were fighting the enemy Rat Ogres while being damaged by enemy slings the entire time. Man, it's turned out to be a really good fight. I'm glad we decided to send Cytocrom here. And it's always very, very fun to fight the rats, just being horribly outnumbered. And without somebody like Lord Croak to, you know, kill off half of the entire enemy army himself. I think maybe a good place to send Lord Croak might be, I mean, it's somewhat close. We could send them to the realm of, I want to say Zinch? Whose realm is down to the... I think southeast is the realm of Zinch or realm of Nurgle. I don't remember who it is, though. But yeah, fighting just to fight some Chaos factions might be fun, and it feels appropriate for Lord Croak. He does have a bit of a thing against them, after all. Anyway, with that, I do believe the enemy army is broken. Gonna actually get a couple of shots off with our solar engines to finish off that Council Guard unit, which was unbreakable, as the white-furred storm vermin that protect the Council of 13 and don't break. Anyway, there we go. With that, the enemy army is done. We're going to chase down this lord pretty successfully, though Queek and his other stack, the garrison stack, will be destroyed since they were in the settlement. All right, very nice. Didn't get to use our solar engines in range mode, but they did plenty well enough in melee. Queek was defeated by Mr. Cytochrome, and otherwise their army, well, I guess this little reinforcing army is going to get away, but the rest of the army will be destroyed quite nicely. Cold One-wise, we've got, let's see, 20k damage on a Raptor Rumble and 287 kills, meaning that they carried the day there, and, well, we got to get more Cold One Spear Riders, as well as for the Croxies, all of which are named here, and 19k, just barely edging out the others, Foxy Croxies. Well done. We will go for an Oitzel this time. So I assume we won't be able to reach this guy afterwards, and the enemy killed in battle, Itchy Grubs, and there we go. Vermin Flail, definitely one of the many things we wanted here. Yeah, we can't reach it, but that's alright. You're gonna be just fine. I hope. Wait. 0 settlements. We won't be able to get Vermin Flail on Nakai. Darn. I should have checked that earlier, but oh well, not a big deal, I guess. We get a bid farewell to Clan Moors, and Skarsnik. Yeah, we've won 8 peaks. We've defeated both Queek and Skarsnik. I guess we didn't defeat Belogar, but well, he's alive at our mercy, and if he continues not wanting that defensive alliance, our cold-blooded logic will demand that we turn upon him and destroy him as well, if that's what it takes. Watch Teclis's elves attack them as well. Teclis isn't crazy about us as well. I wouldn't say no to fighting some elves if we need to. Certainly a different opponent than the types that we've been fighting. But anyway, folks, with that, we're out of time, and I'm going to call the episode here. Next episode, we should be able to complete all of the pyramids and max out Nakai as well, which means we are free to recruit whatever we want into whatever armies we want. And I'm excited for it. Plus, we've started generating a fair bit of income, so we should be able to get the fire army up and running and start up our first probably our first Saurus army. We're fairly deep into the campaign without a Saurus force, but admittedly, I mean, generally speaking, you, or we, they, them, everyone tends to use a lot of Saurus, so it's not a big deal, as they're often visible in other campaigns. Anyway, more Nakai to come. Stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. Ooh, love this bridge, especially the threshold for the longer episodes. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.